Hi everybody. It is, what is it? Day 6? Yes, it's day 6 of the Femininity Challenge. And tonight, I'm trying to keep these videos short because, they're supposed to be short videos that you could take and process and that we can reflect, even me, that we all can reflect on. So tonight we're talking about sensuality, which is super exciting because I think when people, I'm pulling up my notes because y'all already know. I think when people think of sensuality, they think of sex. And while sex does have a part of sensuality, when we're talking about being a sensual woman, there are other parts to that. So, sensuality on a surface level deals with your sexual orientation, who you're attracted to, who you like to be intimate with in that moment. But if you take out the word sense, that means feeling. So sensuality deals with our feelings, our thoughts, taste, touch, smell, and it also deals with our emotions. So I'm just telling the Facebook group, for those people who are in the Facebook group level of Patreon, that I'm live. I'm just going to tell them that I'm live. And then we're going to go ahead and go on with the lesson today. Okay. All right. So first of all, let's talk about, how being masculine prohibits you from being sensual. It prohibits you from being a sensual woman. So when you are masculine, you are probably not able to tap into your emotions. And let me be clear, we're all feminine and masculine. We all have feminine and masculine energy. Even men have feminine and masculine energy, but we are different from men. And when we accept that we're different from men, we operate differently from men, we think differently from men, our emotions are different from men. Same for other women. We're all women, but we operate in our sensuality differently, which I'll get more into that. But day 2 lesson, I will repost that workbook at the end of this video along with the discussion questions for today's lesson that I want us to answer in the community. But I talked about feminine archetypes, like seduction styles, and I wanted you guys to go through that workbook and figure out how you are a seductress. Like, there were different types. I'm not going to go into that. If you go back and look at that video, if you have not looked at that video on the seduction types, and open the workbook to figure out how you seduce, so to speak, okay? And some of you said you really didn't know what type of seductress style you had or what archetype you were. Archetype meaning the type of seduction that you use when you are attracted to the opposite sex. The seduction style that you just may use in general with friends, that's not related to intimacy in that way, like you would have a relationship with a man. But we all have different seduction styles, the way we entice people, the way we get people to do certain things for us, the way we get other people to want to do things for us. So for those of you who said you couldn't see yourself in those archetypes, you could not figure out what seduction type you had, that would lead me to believe that you are operating more in masculine than feminine, or you are just completely out of touch with your sensuality. So in order to be able to understand how to become more of a more of a sensual woman, so that you can operate in the desires of your heart, and also so that you can either attract the type of spouse that you're looking for, or reconnect with the spouse that you have. Same in the workplace, being someone that's well liked, that people respect. Everybody's not going to like you, but overall you could have a very positive interaction with people who are around you in everyday life. So let's talk about that. On a deeper level, sensuality is just being able to connect with your feelings and your emotions and being able to experience pleasure. A lot of women, they do have sex, but they're not sensual. They're not sensual women. I feel like these are the women that kind of go from man to man, can never really settle down in a relationship, can never get the ring, can never really, develop a bond with the opposite sex for reasons that I'm going to talk about as I move forward. And these are things that I had to reflect on as a woman as I got older, as I moved out of my 20s and kind of reflected on like what I want my life to look like, what I want out of life, and what I deserve out of life. So we'll talk about that as we go on. I'm gonna look at my notes real quick, and just so I can stay on track, I want these videos to be like life-changing. I want you to walk away from the femininity challenge more confident. I want to walk away more confident, more assertive in your personality and in the strong aspects of your personality, looking better, leveling up, and just having a new perspective of life and how you plan to tackle life. Okay, so all right, when you are a sensual woman, you're not frantic, you're not loud, you're not aggressive. I mean, I'm loud, but not like in a negative way, like cussing people out and like talking down to people. Like, me being loud is a part of my personality, and it's okay to be you. You can still be a feminine woman and be you. You could be strong, you could be assertive, but you have to understand how to be soft as well, and how to hold back, and how to really tap into the things that you like on a very deeper level, and be aware of yourself. So when you're sensual, you can be relaxed, you're not tense, you're not stressed, you feel good, and that allows you to seduce. And don't think I'm just talking about like sexually. It could be sexually, but I mean, it allows you to seduce people just in general. People will be mesmerized. When you walk by, people will look at you because you look so good. You're carrying yourself with confidence. You seem at ease. You seem just really, really, just different from other women. And you can tell a sensual woman. I mean, when I meet a woman that's very sensual and seems to be in touch with herself and confident and strong, you want to, know more about their business and or their careers or what they do and about their relationships. You can tell when a woman is confident, able to carry herself with class, and is able to tap into her desires and get what she wants out of life. You could just tell. So being sensual is intertwined with our femininity, totally. Being feminine, being sensual, it goes together. Okay, so as we reconnect with our personal femininity, because that's the point of this challenge, we need to know that sometimes you have to like recharge, okay? You may be in a place where you're like, okay, I want to be sensual. I want to be a sensual, strong woman. I want to take in life. I want to be happy. But things happen to us that block us from being able to be open and to be sensual and to be vulnerable. Because to be sensual, you have to be vulnerable to a certain extent. You have to be vulnerable to be able to enjoy life and to enjoy pleasurable things, and not feel like, oh, I can't do that because people will think, or he will think, or she will think. You have to be okay with being who you are as a woman and really walk in that. And that's not easy. Sometimes it's very difficult to really figure out who you are, what you want in life, and kind of walk in that direction, because you don't want to be judged by other people. You don't want people to be like, oh, she, whatever. But you can't worry about that. If you're going to be feminine, if you're going to be soft, if you're going to get everything you want from your man, from your life, from your career, you have to be sensual. Okay, so let's hit some points. So one thing you may be saying to yourself is, how do I tap into this sensuality so that I know how to uncover, the things that I'm fearful about, and be able to move into this like sensual place. Well, I mean, some of us have some serious scars. And I don't know your story because I don't know all of your stories, but I know that some scars deal with abuse. Some scars deal with abandonment. Let me see what she said. Someone said something. And I'm one of those who don't feel I fit into any category. Okay, yeah. I feel like after this video, you will be able to, if you do the exercises, I think you're going to be able to tap into what archetype you are. Because maybe you're a combination of 2 different archetypes or 3 different archetypes. We're not trying to box ourselves. We're just trying to figure out how our characteristics and our personalities can get us what we want. That's basically all we're trying to figure out, okay? So some of us have some deep spiritual work that we have to do. And I'm not trying to convert anyone to Christianity here or to be spiritual. This is not what this femininity challenge is about. Obviously, I know that God really is the only way to have true peace. There's nothing that life could give us, money, a great man, a great career. All those things feel great in the moment, but we cannot enjoy a good man or a great job or great friends or great family until we love ourselves, okay? That's what really this challenge is about. People think it's about getting a man or looking better or whatever. And those things are included, but or keeping our man for those of us who are already married. It's a part of that, but that's not the whole picture. The whole picture is that we are confident women who walk confidently in our purpose. We walk confidently in our sensuality, in our softness, in our femininity, and we are reaping all of the benefits of being a woman. Because I would not want to be anything else but a woman. My husband can have being a man. He got a hard job taking care of me, honey. A hard job. So and sometimes I'm hard on him. Like today was the first day in a while I feel like we had a little bit of like banter that was kind of like conflict. We don't have a lot of arguments since we've matured in our marriage. We've been married over a decade. Our anniversary is coming up. Is it tomorrow? Oh my gosh, our anniversary is tomorrow. We don't argue a lot because I know how to get what I want out of him at this point, and I'm working on it even better. And he knows what I want, and I know what he wants. And we're really learning to walk in our roles as female and male. And that does take time when you are not taught these things. And while my mother was great and my father was amazing, I grew up in a 2-parent home with 2 amazing parents who were Christian. My father's a minister. I had everything I needed to be successful in life, and some people have not. I still felt like the dynamic of my parents' marriage was not exactly the dynamic that I wanted. So I had to go on the journey to become more feminine and figure out, okay, Kim, how do you get what you want out of life? Because life is not worth living if you're not getting what you want out of it, if you're not enjoying your children, your style, your job, your friends. If you're not enjoying everything that life has to offer you, well, what is the point? So that's really the point of all of this. It's multifaceted. So back to my point, we have all gone through trauma. Some people have gone through worse trauma than others, okay? Some of our trauma requires counseling. Some of our trauma requires therapy. Some of our trauma requires spiritual help from a pastor. Some of our trauma requires reflection, admitting things that we need to change, admitting that maybe we shouldn't be fat, okay? Admitting that to ourselves, like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be so fat. Maybe this is hindering me from dating. Maybe this is hindering me from, being light on my feet. Maybe this is hindering me from looking at myself in a way that I shouldn't be. And then so and all of you who are in this challenge are not fat. I'm just speaking for myself. Like being able to go through the process of admitting to myself things that I accepted that I shouldn't have accepted, okay? Admitting to myself, well, hey, maybe I do need to make healthier choices. Oh, it's time to change my hair. I do need to apologize to that person because I'm holding on to guilt. Or maybe I need to speak to someone about a painful experience that I had. I don't know what your journey is, but we all have to go on the journey of a cleanse because you can't be sensual. You can't tap into your femininity. You can't be sexy. You can't attract male attention when you are full of dark energy. Like when you are dark, you're manic, you're depressed, you're overbearing, you don't know how to communicate, you don't put your best foot forward when it comes to your style. Like all of these things are not going to bring you what you want if you don't focus on it. So I do want to point that out, that if you know you're dealing with trauma from childhood or even as an adult, don't be afraid to speak to not only your friends, but your friends aren't therapists. Your friends aren't counselors. Your friends are not a psychiatrist. Your friends are not a pastor, you know. So sometimes it's not just enough to talk to our friends or family about trauma. Sometimes we have to really dig deep and get necessary help so that we can free our minds and our souls of bad things that have happened to us so that we can open up to the light, so to speak. Come out the darkness and open up to light. Okay, so how do you feel in your body? And I'm not talking about like just like your physical appearance. That's only one part. It's a part of being feminine. How you look is like that's I don't want to say it's a small part, but it's not the largest part of being feminine, like how you look. It's how you feel, okay? How do you feel? Do you feel good in your body? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel ready? Do you feel open? I notice sometimes, and this is personal, but I notice sometimes back in the day when my husband would reach out to touch me, like wanting to be intimate, I would like stiff up like a little bit. And I think at that time that was because I was like, wait a minute, are you confident in yourself? Are you confident in your body the way you say you're supposed to be confident? You know? And as I reflect back on that over the years, I'm like, wow, you're not relaxed. If someone you love is trying to show you intimacy, if someone you love is trying to build a relationship with you, if someone you're attracted to, or you want to get to know better, or you want to be friends with, you have a hard time just like, you know, being relaxed and being open. That shows that there's an issue with your sensuality. There's an issue there, okay? So what else do I have? Because there are so many points I don't want to miss tonight, because I feel like this is one of the most powerful lessons I feel that's really going to help us, me and you, elevate our sensuality. So you know, I think that we just have to start practicing being sensual, enjoying the little things that we do every day. Like, I love having a cup of tea or even coffee. I love coffee and I love tea. There's something sensual about that. Waking up in the morning, going, you know, putting my kettle on, picking out my favorite mug, you know, making my coffee exactly the way I want it, and then like drinking it and feeling so good, like I'm starting my day out amazing and great. See, it all starts with the little things, and then you kind of build up, you know, taking a bath. I personally don't like baths. I don't like the idea of sitting in my own dirt. I know that's weird, but I know people love baths. So I think that if you love long baths, light some candles, you know, if you like to have a glass of wine, a good book, these are all things that relax you, and it helps build your ability to feel, okay, and really explore the things that you love to do. I love going to get my nails done, get manicures, which I need one right now. I like going to get manicures and pedicures. I love shopping. Shopping makes me feel very sensual. because I like to look at the clothes on my body and see what clothing looks good on different angles of my body. And it's a very sensual experience. And it has nothing to do with sex or with the man or how a man is looking at me. Although I lately have been practicing how men are looking at me when I'm out and about. Not because I'm dating, because I got the man that I want, but just to see how men react when you get up in the morning, do your makeup, put on a banging outfit, just to see men's reactions. And the other day, it's funny because the other day I was in the mall and I was walking around and this man walks up to me. Of course he's foreign because you know I'm in Kuwait, and he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, yeah, I'm from America. And he's like, oh, he's like, you know, do you live around here? Like, do you need a ride? Can I have your number? And I'm like, no, you cannot, because I'm married. But it was nice to know that, you know, I still got it. Like, I don't just got it for the attraction of my husband. Like, it was nice to know that I got it. Like, that I'm still carrying myself as a feminine woman. I'm still on the journey to take care of myself, to eat better, to live life to the fullest. And it's nice to get that attention, to know that, you know, there's something about me that is shining a light outward that people can see. So that's important. And a lot of women don't want to admit that. Who doesn't want male attention? If you don't want male attention, then that probably means, you know, you are homosexual, or I don't know what straight woman doesn't want male attention. I mean, y'all tell me, does anybody not want male attention? Because I know everybody who joined this femininity challenge, I'm pretty sure that you're heterosexual. I'm pretty sure. So, and if you're not, that's fine. But even in a homosexual relationship, there's going to be a stronger feminine energy and there's going to be a stronger masculine energy, even if it's the same sex. But that's an imbalance right there, because I don't know the chemistry and the biological makeup of someone who identifies as that. So I'm not speaking on that as if I'm an expert. But what I'm saying is, I noticed in a lot, even in a gay relationship, there's a masculine and there's a feminine, if you really pay attention. So that just goes to show you, as a woman, we want male attention and we want to be adored and admired and appreciated. And you need to not say, I don't care if men look at me, I don't care if men like me. That's masculine. You are blocking yourself from men, you know, wanting to carry your bags, to wanting open doors for you, to want to walk in that masculinity that they love to walk in for their egos, because men have egos. And, you know, they want to feel like men, and we want to feel like ladies. So there's nothing wrong with that. So you have to be open to that, okay? You have to rejuvenate yourself and get in touch. I always say, if it's your decision, but I always say, get in touch with yourself spiritually, if you believe in God, because that's going to give you the confidence and the peace that you need to navigate in an evil world where we have all of these things going on. If you get in touch with your spirituality and you get in touch with God, it will give you peace. Elevate your look, work on your look, your style, elevate your self-esteem, read books, you know, develop habits that are good for yourself. All of these things are great things to do to start tapping into your feminine side, your more feminine side, okay? What else do I have? I think moving our bodies and allowing ourselves to feel sexy is another part of sensuality that I want to touch on. I want to cap this video at the 30-minute mark, and I'm 24 minutes in, so I think we have to become comfortable with our bodies. And this is something that I think as women, we all struggle with on a daily basis. Some days I look in the mirror and, you know, I've had surgery and I have scars and different things, and I have to fight through that and be like, no, you still got it. You still cute. You still cute, girl, you know? So I think that if you're somebody who doesn't like your body, you can't look in the mirror naked at yourself, you can't find things about your body that you like, it's going to be very hard for you to walk in confidence in general. And I'm not even talking about sexually, just in general. When you don't feel good about your body, and you're not comfortable with being in your body, that's going to be an issue. So you want to work on things like that so that you can be more feminine. I think the experts in the book that I'm reading, Feminine Power Virtues, it talks about how moving your body is very sensual, and how that when you move your hips, because our feminine energy, it originates like in our hips, like in the hip area, like that's where a lot of the feminine energy is. And that's why women love to show off their curves and love to show off their shapes, and because that makes you feel feminine. A lot of women, it makes them feel feminine, so the book recommended like dancing, like just dancing in your house, or even going out to dance to get more in touch with, like, just feeling like a woman and kind of walking in that. So I thought that was interesting, that's an interesting activity that they pointed out to do, to kind of get in touch with, how dancing is strong and it's powerful, and and how we're so used to being masculine and like dominant and getting things done and getting the job done, which is nothing wrong with that. Y'all know I'm an entrepreneur. I have to get the job done. It is so important for me to be vigilant, to stay on the course, to be aggressive when I need to be aggressive, to hold back when I need to be, a little more understanding and a little more nurturing. But I think that society makes us so masculine these days. I just feel like because we got to do it, we women have had to step up and take care of their homes and be the breadwinners and be everything and be the moms, be the maids, be the be there for sexual gratification for men. We've had to take on all of these roles, and instead of us being able to be more feminine and tap into our desires more, I feel like we've become very hard and masculine, and we don't know how to allow people to do things for us. And that's a very important part of being feminine, is being open enough to allow people to do things for you, being open enough to say, no, that doesn't work for me, to being open enough when you really want something to be honest about it and be like, this isn't working for me. This is why I don't understand why people stay in relationships that are not working for them. Not even stay in relationships, develop relationships where they are compromising in ways in which they know they should not be compromising. You have to set a standard for yourself in every area. So when you're in the workplace, it's the same thing. With the way people talk to you, you have to check people in a very feminine way and let people know, like, hey, you're talking to me very harsh. It's, is there a problem? You can't be that woman that's like combative, because sometimes that doesn't work. But sometimes in the workplace, if you're a supervisor or you're a boss or you're in an authoritative role over other people, if you have employees, if you have people who work under you, you do have to be more masculine. And being more masculine does not mean being rude and being dominant and being, the B word, okay? It's understanding what the goal is and focusing on that goal and sticking with it and not veering from it. People bring too much emotion into the workplace, and I feel like that's one thing as women. We have to kind of bring emotion, but bring it in the right way so that we're not looking like the person that's attacking, but we're always in a place where, people feel like we're being positive and we are not trying to be super dominant, unless your role requires you to be dominant. And you know if you have a role that requires you to be dominant or not, okay? All right, so as I wrap up, I want to just talk about some things that you can do to start tapping into your sensuality. Once you tap into your sensuality, then you can really explore those archetypes. What kind of women are you? Are you mysterious? Are you somebody that likes to play hard to get? Are you an alpha female? Are you more that dominant woman who is strong? has a quirky personality. Because the thing is, a lot of people think like there's not a match for them in this world when it comes to like the opposite sex, if we're talking about the opposite sex. But I feel like there's always a match for you, but you may be matched up or trying to match up with somebody that's not for you. You know, we have to find people that match our seduction type and that responds to our seduction type. So if my husband did not respond to how I am trying to seduce him, well, that's a problem, because then I can't get what I want. You understand what I'm saying? Just using that as an example. Oh gosh. Okay. Once you establish one demeanor in the workplace, how do you change it around? I have tried being more soft and less aggressive, but then people try me and I'm back to square one. Okay, so this is the thing about this, and I have a lot of experience. I've lost, not lost, but I've left a lot of jobs, at least 2 to 3. So I have extensive experience in this particular subject. Um, you have to be consistent with your personality. I think that we cannot allow people to take us there. Even when people try you, you cannot allow people to take you there. You cannot allow your own spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend to take you there. And this is what I've learned through trial and error, through painful experiences. You have to be consistent with your personality. And this is something that I work on every day, learning how to be consistent with my personality. When someone is coming for you in the workplace, you need to take a breath, and even I would practice at home to be ready, just to be ready, because especially if you work in a toxic environment, I would work on getting out of that environment. There's always options in life, but while you have to work where you work, this is what I would do. When someone's coming for you, whether it's a supervisor, whether it's a boss, you have to put on your actor's cap, okay? You have to act. Part of tapping into your femininity is knowing how to tap into the soft side that is overacting a little bit. So when someone says something slick or does something slick or is being disrespectful to you, you have to take a breath, and then you have to put on your actor's cap, because in this life we all have to act sometimes. You know, we're only able to be our true like selves with people we trust, and at home when we're enjoying our everyday activities. But in the workplace, we do have to learn how to navigate that and how to use our femininity to our advantage. So this is what I feel that I started to do, that even I started to do it with my students. And you would think, oh, that works for students. I even did this with my students sometimes. This is what I would do. When a coworker or a boss or anybody says something, I say, if they say something slick, you can say something like, "What did you say?" And smile. Just smile. Don't respond. Make them repeat it. If they say something slick, make them repeat it. So just look at them in the eye and say, "What did you say now?" And a lot of times they won't repeat what they said again, or they will change it up, okay? If they are bold enough to repeat it again, you look at them and you say, "Wow, I don't, that's," if it's really rude, you can actually say it's rude. You can say, "Wow, that's really rude. I don't, wow, I would never say anything like that to you, what makes you feel that way about me?" Or, "Why would you say that?" Or, "I don't think this is an appropriate conversation, to have in the workplace. We're here to work." And, or if you're in a role where you're over someone, keep calm and talk to them with respect. Like, "We just can't have that, why are you laughing out loud? Tell me, girl, why are you laughing out loud?" Be like, we just can't have that. We have to come back to lunch on time. We can't, we can't do that. We can't do this in the work office environment. It's really not professional. We just have to, put our best foot forward. And you have to practice, because being like rolling your eyes, and it's just gonna give you a bad name in the office to the upper people who could give you promotion. Give you private count. You may. There's nothing wrong with counseling. If you think you're over aggressive in any way, that could be an issue that needs to be addressed. But it might not. It might just be habit. Keep in mind, we have habits that we have developed. So the aggression could just be a habit, okay? And I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. We're all different and we all can handle things differently. But I think this technique works for all women. Even alpha females know how to be condescending. You know, your most intelligent, strongest, dominant alpha females are extremely manipulative. You know, I find a lot of women in the entertainment industry to be extremely manipulative, and yet people buy into it and feed into it. Women buy into a lot of the crap that like entertainers say and celebrities say, and it's because these celebrities know how to tap into people's emotions, you know. And that's the same thing we have to do as feminine women. We have to know how to tap into the emotions of our men to sway them our way. We have to learn how to tap into the emotions of people around us, and we have to learn how to tap into the emotions in the workplace. But we can't be the emotional people. We have to be the soft, you know, if need be, victim. Because being the bully in the workplace, being the loud person, I've never met someone. Men can do that, but women, we're not going to get away with that. We're going to be labeled. We're going to be talked about. So we have to learn how to be dominant in a very feminine way. And so, like I said, practice those strategies. I would just look, when someone says something slick, I would say, what did you say? Make them repeat it. Make them repeat it. If they said something slick, make them repeat it. What did you say now? And you can tell them, oh wow, well, you know, I don't really think that's an appropriate thing to say, you know. We're here to work, you know, we're here to get the job done. Talk about the company, make them mad. You got to learn how to flip it on people. And it took me years to understand this. I'm usually the one saying something slick, and I will repeat. Yeah, but listen, do you get what you want? Are you happy with your work right now? Are you happy in all your relationships? Are you happy? If it works for you, then it works. You know, but if it doesn't, if being slick, you know, being combative with people because they say something to you, see, and that's my point. If it's not working, it's not working. So you have to change. When things are not working, you have to flip it on its head. And I think we just have to learn how to be smarter and more resourceful. And I think the more you tap into your sensuality, the more you tap into the happy parts of your life, your desires, what you love, when you go out to work, you're going to feel better because you already feel good about yourself because you've done the self-work. You did the self-work first. So then when you go to work, when people come for you, say slick stuff, it's going to roll off your back. Sometimes you're going to get mad, but you'll learn to repress it and go work out to get out the anger. You know, go kick some boxes to get out the anger. But don't do it with other people. Don't let people use you. I spent years allowing people to control my emotions. It's a dead end hole, okay? It's a dead end street. Allowing people to control your emotions is a dead end street, okay? So it's just something that you got to work on. So as we wrap it up, and we can continue this conversation in the group, you guys, but as we wrap it up, how can we be more sensual? Spend some time alone with yourself. Take yourself on a date. I do that all the time. I take my own self on a date. And I make my man take me out on lots of dates too. But I take myself out. I go get coffee. I reflect. I write down my thoughts. I go, shopping. Like I said, I love to go shopping. I love to try on clothing and develop my style. That's a huge part of. It's very relaxing. I like to give tips. I like to, like I said, I like to get manis and petties. I like to go on trips. I love to travel and go to nice hotels. And I like to look at myself in the mirror and do my makeup. And you have to look at yourself in the mirror. That's another thing you can do to be more sensual. Look at yourself in the mirror, point out all the things you like about yourself, like, oh, I really like my eyes. And say it to yourself. I know it sounds stupid, but I'm telling you, there's so much power in allowing yourself to be vulnerable, even with yourself. If you can't be vulnerable with yourself, you can't be vulnerable with another person. Okay? Do a photo shoot of yourself, take some pictures for a special event or something. There's so many things that you can do to so that you can live in a more sensual way, so that you can actually tap into your seduction style. And when you meet people, you know how your personality works and you stay true to that. Because at the end of the day, people have to be able to meet your standard. We all have standards. And when you have standards as a feminine woman and you say, you can't talk to me like that, I would have liked for us to continue this relationship, but you can't talk to me like that. The most unhappy women are the ones who stay in situations, whether it be friendships, whether it be romantic relationships, whether it be a career. And I know all of this from personal experience, where you're not honest with yourself about what you want. There are just certain ways my husband cannot talk to me. Even if I hear a twinge in his voice, I'm just like, honey, are you yelling? And he's probably not, because he never yells at me. But that's just my way of being like, oh, I don't like your tone. Okay? Are you angry? What did I do? Are you angry? I think that we have to learn how to be more powerful. And people think being powerful is profanity, cursing, yelling. But power is understanding how to navigate in a way where you're going to come out on top and not bottom. So that's my thoughts on that. So I'm going to post some reflection questions in the group, you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because 43-minute video. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry these videos are so long. I'm trying to condense my thoughts and my notes and everything in a half an hour, but it's so hard. So I'm going to go ahead and post those discussion questions in the group. Thank you guys for joining me for day 6 of the Femininity Challenge. I would love if you guys would go on my Instagram page under any post about the Femininity Challenge and tell me what you think about the Femininity Challenge. I think this is a challenge that a lot of women need. So I would love for you to leave me your reviews on Facebook. Thank you so much, Bridget. I would love for you to leave me your reviews on Facebook or on Patreon. Let me know how you're liking the Femininity Challenge. We also have the fashion community aspect. If you're a part of the Facebook group, please post your outfits as much as you can, not every day, but as much as you can. I also have consultation services for people who need like one-on-one help, who want to revamp your style. If you want a makeover, I have a service for that. I posted about it in the Facebook group, but I am going to put it up on my website, and I'm also going to put it in the Patreon group for people who want a makeover. You want to work with me. We can do a board for you with style inspirations, store recommendations based on where you live, and we can kind of help you with that, revamping your image, if that's something that you want to work on as well as your insides. Okay, guys, so yeah, any feedback is great. I'm going to go ahead and post these discussion questions in the group. Please go answer. Let me know your thoughts, good or bad, doesn't matter. This is about you. everything else. All right, guys, bye.